Wyoming. It is extraordinarily beautiful. We're so thankful to be here. We are on a family trip, so we're going to be spending time with our loved ones, exploring nature, so it's bound to be a beautiful week. We arrived about 24 hours ago, so I'll catch you up with everything that we've been up to. Let's rewind to when we first landed in Jackson Hole. We immediately just loved this airport. It's actually located within Grand Teton National Park, and it's the only commercial airport that is located in a national park, so that felt pretty special, and it's just really beautifully designed. It's nice and small as well, so it's easy to navigate, and you're on your way. We had a very short drive to the home we were staying in. It's a Verbo rental that my brother-in-law found, and it was so beautiful. Oh, a little creek. That's so magical. The little creek in the back and the mountain view truly just was the cherry on top, but it was also very beautifully designed and had that rustic feel, but was very modern and comfortable. So we loved this. We took over the upstairs and moved the beds together. It was nice to have some extra space for our baby, set up the pack and play. So we just settled in a bit and had an earlier night since we had about a 3-hour time change. So by the time we got to our home, we were pretty much ready to call it a day, but we woke up bright and early and went to downtown Jackson Hole and started to get our bearings. We had breakfast at Persephone, and this was delightful. Everything we had was so scrumptious. I had a really yummy breakfast sandwich and delicious coffee. They also had a tasty sweet potato and Brussels sprout hash, so we really enjoyed this spot. And then we continued to just walk around Jackson Hole. I wasn't super familiar with Jackson Hole before visiting, but I really loved it even more than I thought I would. It has that really authentic Western feel, which is quite unique, but it's also surrounded by so much wildlife and nature. So you have these modern amenities like delicious restaurants, coffee shops, but then just a couple miles away, you're deep in wildlife and nature. So that just felt really, really special, and we enjoyed exploring and just checking out the fun shops. And we stumbled upon the Jackson Hole Playhouse, which we'll revisit later in the trip, which was another highlight. After walking around for a bit, we were ready for our second round of coffee, so we went to Cowboy Coffee, which they have a few different locations throughout the area, and I love the theming of this place. The coffee was also delicious. Brandon got a nitro cold brew, and I got a Mexican mocha, which had that beautiful mocha flavor, some espresso, and some cayenne for a little kick. Way into town, we noticed that we drove right past the National Elk Refuge, so after we were finished strolling around, we decided to pop in, and I'm so glad we did. It wasn't the season for the elk herd. They typically take refuge there throughout the months of December to April, so we actually didn't see any elk while we were at the refuge, but it was really neat because they do have an indoor center where you can learn more about the animals and just about the habitat. We ended up seeing a bunch of geese, which was still exciting, and they had so many babies, which was absolutely adorable. So even though we didn't see any elk here, thankfully we saw some later on in our trip. We then made our way to the National Museum of Wildlife Art, which they had many beautiful displays on the outside of the museum. So we actually never went fully inside besides for some lunch, but they had these really gorgeous and interesting sculptures of this elephant herd, which was really neat to see. They also had some binoculars so you could look out to the surrounding area. So we took a nice little stroll, and then we made our way inside to Palette for some lunch, and it was absolutely delicious. There was even live music, so that really added to our experience. bird sounds are just magical. We slept with the windows open last night and had the fresh mountain air, the bird sounds, delightful. And we have this dreamy little creek right outside our cabin, which makes for the most peaceful ambiance. And tonight we have an exciting evening ahead of us because Brandon and I are going to go on our date night while our son stays with the grandparents, and we're going to go to the Jackson Hole Playhouse, see a show there. It is family friendly and you can bring your baby, so just wanted to note that in case you are traveling with your little ones. But mom and dad are going to go out on the town. There's also the $1 Million Cowboy Bar, which is just one of the most iconic spots in downtown Jackson Hole, so we're going to check that out as well, have a little adventure, and then hopefully tomorrow we can explore Grand Teton, go for some hikes, and just again enjoy this beautiful place. We didn't even realize that it was opening night when we saw the Ballad of Cat Ballou, so there was just an extra buzz in the air. Everyone was so excited. The woman who owns and operates the theater gave a little speech beforehand. It was really special, and I'm so thankful that we were able to do this.
Today, now this theater's gone back.
Good morning. We are up and at 'em this morning. We had such a fun date night. The show was a hoot. It was amazing. Our baby's yapping in the back, but we are excited to get some breakfast this morning. My tummy just rumbled. We're checking out a new spot, gonna fuel up, and then the plan is to head to Jenny Lake, which is one of the top, I feel like, Grand Teton destinations, this beautiful lake. And we did pack swimsuits, which is kind of wild of us because it'll be cold, but we'll see. If the opportunity arises, we might need to take a little dip.
So is it in the park itself, the lake? Mm-hmm. My mom was asking me that. I said,
"Are you sure?"
Yeah, actually sure.
Pretty sure. We're still figuring this all out, but it's so beautiful. It's overcast right now, but it's supposed to be sunny later. So if it's sunny and we could cool off, I feel like that'll be the perfect place to do it. Jenny Lake is one of the most visited areas in Grand Teton, rightfully so. It is absolutely beautiful, and there's a variety of different ways you can visit Jenny Lake. You could go on a small hike to different viewpoints. You could drive up to different viewpoints. They have a ferry to take you across the lake if you wish. So we just meandered down and began hiking. We were on the hunt for a beach because we were excited to swim. So we ended up hiking past the little beach area and took the scenic route, but that was fine because we loved seeing the views. Brandon's got the bear spray ready to rock and roll if we okay.
Quick on the draw.
He's inspired after our show last night. Okay. If I had to guess, I would say that the water temperature probably was around 55 degrees Fahrenheit, so it was quite chilly, but it felt invigorating. We didn't have too much time before our dinner reservation, but we did squeeze in another little hike at Taggart Lake Trailhead. We didn't make it to the lake, but we saw some interesting sights. We saw these crazy looking caterpillars all bunched up. We saw some butterflies, some mountain views, also the pollen on these trees. Brandon just ended up touching one of the branches and noticed all the pollen just spread so powdery in the air. It was so interesting. Pollen. For dinner, we had a beautiful meal at Gather in downtown Jackson Hole, and it was so delicious. Everything was quite yummy. And Gather is owned by the same people that owns Palette, which is where we had lunch the previous day.
By the end of the day.
Oh, what a day. What a day. We are just basking in our view. So beautiful.
Have you shown this already?
Of course. It's so stunning. And then the sound of the little creek babbling beside us. Amazing. We are pretty expired though. We had a full day. We got a lot of sun too, so I feel like that made us a little tired too. But it was lovely. We did a lot today, I feel like. Breakfast feels like so long ago. It's beautiful. Tomorrow we're gonna spend some more time in Grand Teton. That's the plan, because the next day after that is when we head to Yellowstone. So we're soaking it up. I feel like one of my favorite parts so far has been the actual town of Jackson Hole.
Yeah, Jackson is really neat. We've had 4 amazing meals.
Yeah,
Been to 2 really awesome coffee shops. That's been great. And yeah, it's charming. Like the Western vibes are really cute.
Yeah, it's so unique.
Takes you back a little bit. And then the playhouse last night was awesome.
Yeah, the playhouse was.
I'm very glad we did that late night, but it was fun.
But now we're gonna try to go to bed early. But the thing is, the daylight hours are so extended here. The sun rises at around 5:45, and then it doesn't set until what, 9:30?
I believe, yeah.
So really long days. That makes it good for many adventures, but we also got to get our beauty sleep.
Best keep to traveling on. Ride 10 deep into town.
It was a foggy morning and we made our way to Teton Village, which is one of the ski villages in the area. We grabbed coffee at Overview Coffee, which was really wonderful and fit for our foggy morning. And then we headed over to the Tram, which takes you to the top of Rendezvous Mountain, and the views were incredible. We were so surprised that we suddenly were over the clouds. As you saw, it was so foggy and cloudy at the bottom of the mountain, but then once you went through that ceiling of clouds, you could just see the views, and it was incredible. One of our main motivations for taking the tram up the mountain was waffles. There's this adorable cabin at the top of the mountain where you can get freshly made waffles, and they have a few different types. We got a peanut butter and bacon one and a brown sugar one with a side of coffee, and it was wonderful to just eat these warm, delicious waffles while we took in all the views. We then went off to explore a bit down the mountain. We were really hoping to see some wildlife, and thankfully we did. We saw this gorgeous fox, which I don't think I've ever seen a fox in the wild, so this was really neat to see. It also was kind of wild to be surrounded by snow and show our baby snow for the first time. Meanwhile, we're getting quite toasty because the sun is so bright and it's actually quite warm at the top of the mountain. Quite the juxtaposition. For lunch, we went back to downtown Jackson Hole to grab some pizza, which was really tasty. They also had delicious salad, and then we browsed around and did some shopping. Hello. I got a new shirt, Grand Teton, very cute. I don't think you even noticed my new shirt. We split up. Brandon went to the grocery store and I walked around town.
Let me see it.
Oh, Grand Teton.
Oh,
It's fun,
that's cool.
right?
Yeah.
It's cute, except we haven't seen any bison, so false advertising. We're gonna try, we're about to have like a little game plan session because tomorrow we're headed to Yellowstone, which is really exciting, but I'm pretty sure you can go through Grand Teton to get to Yellowstone, so I'd love to kind of see more of it. And I feel like we just need to get out earlier to see more wildlife. I'm very thankful we saw a fox today. That was exciting, but yeah, it made us miss our dog. Any animal reminds us of our dog. Let me show you what else we picked out at the store. Got this cute postcard for scrapbooking. It says Grand Teton, and then we always like to pick out an ornament for our Christmas tree. Brandon picked out this one. It reminded him of our show. It says, "Howdy stranger, yonder is Jackson Hole, the last of the Old West." And then I got a little Dolly Parton sticker for my mom because her grandma name is Dolly, and that's her spirit lady. And then we got some fudge at the sweet shop, and I also got some Zots. These are so good. They're so sour. So now we're just getting organized, packing up, and we're gonna make a game plan, like I said, for tomorrow because it's our big travel day. We're really gonna miss this home though because it's so incredibly beautiful. I'm staring out at the mountain range and it truly is extraordinary, and we'll miss it, but maybe we'll catch sunset tonight. We are out and about, crossing off our final Grand Teton stops before we make our way over to Yellowstone. We grabbed some breakfast from Snake River Roasting Co.
Yeah.
Roasting Co. Already drank all our coffees, ate all our breakfast. That's such a good spot. We love it.
We didn't eat all of our
Delicious.
breakfast.
Oh yeah, we still have some leftovers, but the coffee's gone.
You have a, what is it, a cinnamon roll?
Yeah, I got a maple pecan cinnamon roll, so we'll enjoy that soon. We kind of stocked up on our snacks and stuff and got some extra food from Snake River because we're gonna be spending most of the day in the car just like popping off at different overlooks, different stops, different visitor centers, and making our way over to Yellowstone. On our final list in the Grand Tetons, we wanted to stop by the visitor center, which I'm glad we did. It was very modern and neat. They had a ton of different interactive points where you could learn more about the wildlife and the environment, and I really love the National Park visitor centers. I find them very endearing, and you always walk away with something new that you learned. We made an impromptu pit stop at Teton Point Turnout, and this is a fabulous photo spot. Mormon Row is also a great pit stop for stunning views of the Tetons. It's called Mormon Row because this was the site of Mormon homesteaders who settled out in this area after they were sent from the Salt Lake Valley to establish new communities and support the growing Mormon population. Snake River Overlook was also a great stop, and these overlooks and pit stops really don't take long. You can just pop out of your car, take a peek, and I'm so glad we stopped here because when I popped out, I was able to see a moose in the middle of the river, which was incredible. If you look really closely, you can see a tiny little black dot in the river, and that's the moose. We saw lots of bison at the Elk Ranch Flats, and then we also saw a beautiful view from Oxbow Bend. Our first stop in Yellowstone was West Thumb Geyser Basin, and this was really neat. It's a variety of different thermal features and activity. There were boiling mud pots, hot springs, these colorful pools. I find it unbelievable that this is just naturally occurring, and I always think about how astonishing it would be to be one of the first explorers who discovered this area, and just out of this world it would feel. So this was fun to stroll around, and it's neat because, like I said, there is such a variety, so you can wander about and take it all in. One of the most striking pools, in my opinion, was the Abyss Pool, and this is really interesting because it is one of the deepest hot springs within the park at 53 feet. made our way to Old Faithful, which is one of the most iconic spots in Yellowstone. I was also excited to check out the Old Faithful Inn, which is right next door, hence the name, and the architecture of this place is unbelievable. I kept saying it looked like Lincoln logs, just all the log details and intricacies. It is actually considered the largest log structure in the whole world. Also, you can check online beforehand, or when you enter the visitor center at Old Faithful, you can see when they estimate the next eruption will be, because it actually has quite the range and it erupts every 35 to 120 minutes. So it really can vary, but it's helpful that they have this estimation so you can plan accordingly. Our final stop of the day in Yellowstone was Grand Prismatic Spring, and this one was my absolute favorite. It blew me away. It is Yellowstone's largest hot spring, and it's more than 121 feet deep. It is remarkable. The colors, the steam rolling off, the sensation of walking right along the spring and feeling, it was quite windy, so you could feel the heat rising from the spring and blowing in your face, but then there was also a chill in the air as well. It was really neat. I kind of felt like I was at an outdoor spa, and it just left us in awe. Drive to Gardiner, Montana, which was our home for the next few nights. We saw some elk and some other beautiful views, and it was amazing how the terrain could vary so much in different sections of the park. Good morning from Gardiner, Montana.
Good morning.
It's Father's Day. Brandon's rocking his new hat, his new gift.
My Wells hat, my dad's shirt from you.
Oh yeah, and his shirt says Dad.
I guess that was probably last Father's Day, right?
Oh yeah,
So
totally. So today we are kind of having a slower morning, which feels really nice because yesterday I feel like we saw half of Yellowstone. We did really so much yesterday. It was amazing. Basically, to drive from Jackson Hole to the south. Where are we now? The north?
Yeah, we're kind of the north part.
We're kind of in the north part of Yellowstone, so we really crossed a lot of territory, saw some of the main sites, Old Faithful, the Grand Prismatic Springs, was that it? The Grand Prismatic?
I think so, yeah.
That was my favorite. That was the highlight for me.
In Yellowstone, yeah.
In Yellowstone, yes.
That was really cool. And then also just the drive from there to Gardiner was incredible.
Yeah.
All the different landscapes.
Meadows.
You saw some bison and meadows. Have yet to see a bear. Hopefully you see one.
Our family saw
distance.
3 bears yesterday, and we never saw any
and you
bears.
saw a moose, but I did see a moose.
Yes.
So I would like to see a moose and a bear.
We have some goals on the list.
And lots of elk. Yeah, we're the only ones who saw the huge herd of bison leaving Jackson when we were showing Grand Teton, so that was really cool to see.
It was. So now we're just gonna pop at the grocery store, gonna get some ingredients. I'm gonna make Father's Day chili for dinner, and we'll have like a family meal at the place we're staying. We're staying in Hawkeye Suites at Yellowstone teepees. There's a bunch of teepees you can stay in, but there's also like this big sized suite, I guess you would say, that our whole family is able to stay in together. So that's very nice. So I'm gonna stock up on some groceries and see what else the day brings.
Hopefully find some coffee.
Oh yeah, we always prioritize a little coffee, little latte.
That's right. We'll keep you posted. Find a good spot.
Absolutely. Brandon wanted to update you that we found the coffee.
Yeah.
He's always looking for the best coffee shops in town. That's like his little mission every time we travel, is to find yummy coffee.
Mission accomplished.
And I got a huckleberry iced latte, which is just, it feels right. And then you got
There's cold brews, homemade cold brew. This
With
is the place
coffee
called
ice
Sage
cubes.
Brushers. Yeah, I feel like
They're so cute. They're
just
circular.
no more than a handful of times I've had coffee ice cubes at a coffee place. And these are excellent. And they're in these little spheres, which are just fun.
Good stuff.
Mammoth Hot Springs was only about a 15-minute drive from where we were staying in Gardiner, so a great little pit stop and place to explore. Again, we were just in awe, and here they have a lot of pathways so you can explore a bit and see it from different vantage points. Had a cozy family meal back at the home we were staying in before we had an early morning the next day to explore Lamar Valley. I'm so glad we ended up going to Lamar Valley because we had our heart set on seeing more wildlife, and sure enough, we got spoiled by the beautiful creatures making their presence known. We saw a bald eagle, we saw so many bison, hundreds and hundreds, and it was especially sweet to see the baby bison. We even spotted some bison poop. I thought you might want to see that for educational purposes. The Lamar Valley River is quite spectacular and trails throughout the valley, and you can again just spot different wildlife. So many bison. We saw a coyote too, and we popped out of the car at certain points so we could walk around, take a closer look, get some family photos, and again just take it all in since this was our last full day in the park. As we were approaching lunchtime, we made our way to Cook City, which was the nearby town where you could grab a bite to eat. And I was feeling a little bummed that we hadn't seen any bears yet. Our family saw 3 bears on their drive throughout the park, but somehow we missed them every time. So I said a little prayer. Of course, I was thankful for everything we already got to see and experience, but we were really hoping to see some bears because that's not something we see often where we live. And so not even 15 seconds after that prayer, we turned the corner and here we have this beautiful mama black bear and her 2 cubs. It really was so special and magical, and we ended up seeing a couple more bears throughout the day. So that was really, really special and absolutely a highlight. Our last stop in Yellowstone was Tower Fall Overlook, which was a beautiful, beautiful waterfall. We ended up hiking it down a bit to the base, and we saw this beautiful deer as well, which was quite close to us. So that was lovely to experience, and I'm glad we got to squeeze in this last stop before our journey back home.
That's a wrap on our Grand Teton Yellowstone adventure. We leave tomorrow morning, but it's been such a full trip. We saw so many incredible sights, so unique of a territory and atmosphere that we're not used to.
Yeah, it really is.
So beautiful. Thankful we saw many animals today, especially the bears. That was
Yeah,
a
that was
really
amazing.
special moment.
Answer to prayers,
Literally an answer to prayers. It was so special. So very thankful for time exploring and with family. Really hope you all enjoyed this vlog. Quick, what was your trip highlight? I have two. I have two that come to mind besides spending time with family and just
the date night at the playhouse was
Yep.
really special. That was amazing. You go ahead.
and the bears.
Yeah, the bears was awesome.
Oh, it's windy. We're about to
It's
get blown
actually
away.
chilly. It hasn't
Okay.
been
Thanks for
quite as
watching.
chilly.
Bye.
Bye.